All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen, and we are live right in your face. Holy crap. Here, let me fix that real quick. Wow. I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my boy, Colts Loyalist, and we are this is a fun stream. This is what it's about, right? I mean, I was like, hey, we could start off, just start singing. If you want to destroy my sweater, pull the string as I walk away. No. What's up, D. Patel? What's up, John Davis? Everybody, please smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time we go live or upload a video. And don't forget to share this to your favorite social media. Now that that's out of the way, I just want to know, we had so many people last year for the 2022 NFL Pro Bowl, 7 starters, 6 alternates. Wow. That is like, that should be almost a record, right, for the history of NFL. Now, I remember one team had 7 or 8, and I think another team had 9 in history. But, I mean, with alternates, that's stupid. So, hey, what this is going to be about, let's predict. Let's do some predictions. Who do we think is going to make the Pro Bowl next year? Now, obviously, they're talking about there won't be a Pro Bowl, but they'll still have the voting and stuff for the accolades and things of that nature. They just won't play the game, right? They'll have activities and stuff of that nature. But still, it is a big honor, to be represented not only by the NFL, your peers, coaches, but you. Because you get 1/3 of the votes in the Pro Bowls. Let's find out who in the world we think could possibly make the Pro Bowl next year for the Indianapolis Colts. And there were some guys that were alternates that I was just like, what, from last year? Carson Wentz was an alternate. Did you know that?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
What? Xavier Rhodes was an alternate. I don't know how Rock didn't get an alternate when he played better than even Kenny Moore did, last year. But, he didn't have the fan power, that Kenny Moore does. Not that Kenny doesn't deserve it. He's played his butt off the last few years. But, I thought Rock was the best corner on the team last year. Was there anyone from last year that really surprised you?
No, like you said, Carson, maybe if you'd have made the Pro Bowl instead of an alternate, who knows? Things might have been different. But no, like I said, look at this roster. I mean, we've said over the last couple of years, how amazingly talented this roster is. Chris Ballard says it's going to be hard to make this team. Even the 53rd player is going to have a rough time because you can't just be just some guy like it was, early on in the Ballard regime and stuff, whenever he was rotating the roster around and stuff. But now, like we said, we've got so much talent on this team. And, it's just something that just drives me nuts about the way the season ended last year. Like you said, you look at all this talent and the number of all-pro guys that we had and stuff, and it just seems unreal that this team did not make the playoffs last year.
No kidding. I mean, look, I've been a huge supporter of Luke Rhodes. All right, I love Luke Rhodes. Ever since I got to saw him in training camp, I was like, what is – dude is – paint him green. He's the Incredible Hulk. All right, he is huge. He's not a very tall guy, but he is stacked, right? So him making the Pro Bowl, even all-pro, I'm like, okay, I understand that. But Ashton Dulin made it as an alternate, right? Mm-hmm. That was the biggest surprise for me. Pretty sure he made it as a special teamer, not as a wide receiver, but that was still, pretty impressive. This year, as you said, man, this team just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And now, people are like, well, we're going to have a bunch of undrafted free agents make the team. I would not push it. I mean, we didn't have any make it last year. Well, no. Did we?
No. Last year was the first year that we had broke that streak in like 21 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will be in defense of the UDFAs. There's a lot of talented UDFAs that we got picked up this year, so, you look at the linebacker spot, special teams, like you were saying, is one of these linebackers maybe make it on the roster that way. But yeah, it's not like it was years in the past where it wasn't, are we going to have a UDFA make the roster? It was, is there going to be 6 of them? Now it's like, if you get one, you've really done something as a player.
Absolutely. And you bring up the linebacking core. Darius Leonard goes down. That might be the biggest drop in talent, on the team from starter to backup, right? I mean, it's a huge drop off. No, I'm not trying to diss, guys that would come in like EJ Speed and them to fill his position, but I mean, come on. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's been to 4 All-Pros or something. I mean, dude's a monster, right? Ever since him and Quenton Nelson came in, they've just been dominating all the awards. The only award that he hasn't gotten yet so far is Defensive Player of the Year, So, and could that be in his future this year after the surgery?
I would love that. I mean, because, this young man it's weird because you sit there and you watch some of the national media and they act like Darius Leonard doesn't even exist. You sit there and you see all these linebackers and it's like, you don't even have 53 on there, and then you listen to another sect of the national media and they're more of the thinking that we are. I mean, this dude does everything, and like you said, last year, I mean, heck, we had Darius on an ankle and a half, and we still were like, no, he's still better than whatever we could have put out there because, I mean, his stats were stupid for a young man that was struggling with everything that he was going through last year.
Absolutely. Now, this year, obviously, we got some new faces, some Pro Bowlers, some All-Pros, some MVPs on the team, Defensive Player of the Years. Could some of these guys, stack on and get to where they were at the point where they have made their Pro Bowls? Absolutely. Hey, Frederico Chino, what's up? Appreciate you. Says 12-hour shift today. Good to find some good live Colts content. It's tough to come up with topics, my guy. That's why we're talking about next year's Pro Bowl. But hey, we're here for you. We try to do this every Wednesday. Sometimes we may do it on Tuesdays, depending. So, but appreciate you guys being here. Same with you, Speed and Toxic. What's up, guys? But let's start with some of the new guys that we got in the offseason. Let's go with the quarterback. Do you think Matt Ryan has a shot at making the Pro Bowl with the laundry list of really good quarterbacks that are in the AFC?
See, and he's got the name recognition. Like you had said earlier, Rock didn't make it because it wasn't that his play wasn't elevated to that level. It was just he didn't have that name recognition to help boost his notoriety and stuff. And Matt Ryan does not have that problem. But then, like you said, you look at the Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. I mean, there's a lot of outstanding quarterback talent, especially in the AFC. And it's like, what? I would love to sit there and say yes. And quite honestly, I think that if he comes out and I don't want to say shocks, because there's a lot of people that think that, but if he can sit there and lead this team to 13, 14 wins, I would hope he'd at least be in the conversation. Because if that happens, that means that maybe one of those other well-known quarterbacks maybe didn't have quite the year that Matt Ryan had.
When you talk about 13, 14 wins, I think that's going to happen. I mean, when it comes to wins and getting to the playoffs, the quarterback is linked. Sometimes fairly, sometimes unfairly, to how a team produces that season, right? So I think Jonathan Taylor obviously is going to have a good season. That way the pressure. It makes his job easier to throw the football around, so that his numbers can be there. That's the thing, right? He can't have a sub 4,000 yard passing year and 20 touchdowns and 12 interceptions like he had last year and make the Pro Bowl. There's just no way, So I think that he definitely, I think he can. But, man, it is stacked against him because you named off a couple. I mean, you got Joe Burrow. You got Lamar Jackson coming back from injury this year. You got Justin Herbert. I mean, there's so many quarterbacks in the AFC that it may be the toughest because the toughest position to make the Pro Bowl in the AFC right now. Let's move on to another guy that we picked up this year in the offseason. Let's talk about an edge rusher. All right. Yannick was a Pro Bowler back when he was with the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? And he has produced every year that he's been in the NFL, right? Now he is with the guy who, was there when he got drafted with Jacksonville, Gus Bradley. And he was there last year with the Raiders with Gus Bradley. He's now with him with this year. Sitting there, he's in his prime. He's a great pass rusher. Could he make the Pro Bowl this year?
Yes, and I'm looking for big things from this young man. Like I said, this Nate Ollie scheme and the way that they're going to be super aggressive at going to the quarterback and not doing that. I don't want to call it zone cover, but where they would contain and then sort of encircle them. No, this year we hear all that how it's just full throttle. Everybody straight to the quarterback. And I feel like that would benefit, Yannick a little bit, like you said the other day when we were talking, you got Defo in there, just, freeing him up. He's way out there on the ninth position. And he, like I said, he's pinning the ears back. He's one-on-one a lot of times because it's not easy to sit there and say, okay, well, we're going to double team Yannick and not worry about DeForest as much. Well, you do that, and your quarterback's going to be very pissed, let me tell you. So I think that, yes, it is. But there again, you look at the pass rushers that are in the AFC again, and that's a tall list of people. But I do think that, first off, I feel like he's going to bring enough recognition just by the way I think he's going to elevate the numbers for this Colts D-line over what we saw the last 4 or 5 years. And we are considered one of the better defenses. And I think this year is only going to elevate.
Yep, I do too. Especially with, with the defense that we have. I think that our offense will help him out, right? The Colts traditionally have had last 2 years have had a top 10 scoring offense in the NFL, making other teams throw the football, right? We're usually really good against the run. And we make other teams throw the football, which means there's going to be opportunities for Yannick to get out there and get his. And when he's never played right beside a guy of the caliber of, DeForest Buckner, right? Now, obviously, he's had a guy on the opposite side of him. Last year he had Max Crosby, but could Kwity Pace make that jump this year? Well, that's a guy we might come across later and talk about, right? Let's discuss another. So I absolutely think it's possible he could. Now, obviously, as a pass rusher, to make the Pro Bowl, you need like 15 sacks, right? I mean, that's it. And that'll be a career high for Yannick if he pulls that off. So even though I think it's possible, that's a big ask. Just saying. Let's go talk about another guy we pulled in the offseason over there on the defense. Let's talk about number 5. Let's talk about Mr. Gilly, right? Stephon Gilmore, former defensive MVP, multiple All-Pros, multiple Pro Bowls, had some injury problems last year, but came back with a thunder late in the season and played very, very well for the Panthers. Do you think he has a shot?
Yeah, I think he's got a shot. There again, his big thing is staying healthy, and being on the field. But the thing about Gilly is, I think that other cornerbacks are going to be tested because they're going to steer away from Gilly a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because we talked about it, ad nauseum with, Kenny Moore didn't have his best start or finish to last year, but he still had a decent year. Isaiah Rodgers is still sort of that young, unproven, or Brandon Facyson. These guys they haven't made their bones in the league yet. You know what I mean? So I would think that the quarterbacks are going to test those guys more than they would a proven Stephon Gilmore. But like I said, that may work out great because I like what we have. Like I said, I love all those young men that I just mentioned, and I think that their numbers are going to elevate, and it's going to be in part because of that pass rush. And secondly, like I said, I think Gilmore, but that name recognition in the Pro Bowl is so hard to overcome, and I think that's what gives him the greatest chance of making it, is just because, across the league, you hear Stephon Gilmore and you think of one of the premier cornerbacks in the league. And if you sit there and you can find a way, God willing, to get them 17 games this year, plus the playoffs and stuff, I would say that, that name recognition is going to carry him a long way, because just as hard it is to get into the Pro Bowl due to lack of it, it's awful hard to remove somebody that's been in it year in and year out.
The one thing I will say, if Gilmore plays 17 games, he'll make the Pro Bowl. I'll almost guarantee it. I have no qualms with his ability, right? And his even at his age, 32, I still think he's fast enough, plenty athletic enough, and does a great job still reading the wide receivers and reading the quarterback to jump plays. I think he's going to be a fantastic addition this year. Again, just stay healthy, and I think it's a sure in, just if he stays healthy. Now, obviously, he has to play the games, right? I mean, but this, from what I'm expecting from him, absolutely.
Do you think the slate of quarterbacks and receivers, though, that we have to compete against this year, do you think that that's going to make it harder for any of our secondary to make the Pro Bowl this year? Or do you think that that's going to elevate it because they're going to see the competition that they had to perform against week in and week out?
Well, here's the thing. We've actually been pretty good against wide receivers. And when it comes to that, a lot of the yards that we've been giving up the last couple of years has been against tight ends and checkdowns to running backs and things of that nature. Wide receivers, we've held. Well, we played Buffalo and Josh Allen. The most yards a wide receiver got, I think, was like 27 yards, right? I think last year, not
right.
The year before when Davis went off on us. But and it's just I don't think so. Because again, we have a very good all-around defense. Is there any other guys that I might be missing that we have picked up in the offseason that you think have a shot?
On the defense?
On the team.
Let's see.
From the offseason.
Yeah, and I mean...
And I'm including rookies here.
Right. And that's where I'm like, obviously, maybe Lindsey, if he gets enough chances, but I just, with JT and Nyheim in front of him, I don't see that happening.
Nyheim Hines was an alternate last year, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that that's going to change this year. But, as far as people that we brought in, like I said, I'm not thinking of anybody. You?
No. And that's including rookies. Look, I love Alec Pierce. I don't think he stands a shot, though. He could have a good season, but to find a rookie wide receiver make the Pro Bowl is kind of like, finding the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It happens, but it's not often enough. Okay. I think the only rookie I think that has a shot is possibly Jelani Woods. And that's a very slim, and he's going to have to put up a lot of effort, learn a lot in the off season, and then get his snaps, and produce when he gets those snaps. I think he has the athleticism, the ability, the size, all of that. I mean, it's exactly the kind that, Matt Ryan likes, that whole Tony Gonzalez type kind of size and speed and reach. But again, doing it as a rookie, that's like, what? Right.
Yeah. And especially like you said, with these rookies, a lot of times the guys that are going to make the first year, Pro Bowl or your top 10 picks, I mean, these guys that have that name recognition through college and stuff. And I'm not knocking, any of the picks that we have this year, but I mean, somebody that I think just maybe because of the retirement of Kari Willis is if, Nick Cross can come out and just, start clicking early. But there again, I hate putting that much pressure onto a rookie, because, I'm sort of old and stodgy, I like to see it a little bit more, and stuff. And like I said, if you're not a top 10 pick, it's hard to sit there and give them a fast track to the Pro Bowl.
Absolutely. Guys, thanks everybody for being here. Please smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Tag that notification bell so you're notified next time we go live or upload a video. Please feel free, share this to your favorite social media. We will get to the live chat after we get done discussing. So don't go anywhere. We will go through the live chat. If you want to make sure we get to your chat, we will interrupt what we're talking about. If you use the link in the description of the video for donations, obviously, we will hit that up immediately. But until then, hey, guys, I got a great merch shop. If you want to go check out some of the stuff that we have there, that'd be awesome. Appreciate it. Come check out the Colts Law merch shop. New items added every week. All sorts of items, from clothing to cups to cozies to backpacks, hats, just miscellaneous items that you can get around the house, even phone covers. Just check it out. Let me know. Send me a message. Hey, is there something that I'm missing? Go feel free to ask. Have a good one. All right. That was pretty good. Let's go ahead and drop the other one as well, because the Backroom Collection, yeah, they got some really awesome stuff. Go check them out too. This channel is proudly sponsored by the Backroom Collection. They do beautiful sports canvas art with football, basketball, baseball, and other sports themes. Special orders are accepted and autograph pieces are available. Many Indianapolis Colts sign pieces will be available beginning in November. Just use your discount code CL10 to purchase the pieces you want to spice up your living area. That's CL10. All right, Loyalists, now we're going to discuss the guys that are already on the team before the year started. Let's talk about repeats. Do we have any repeats on the team? The obvious answer is going to be like Quenton Nelson, Darius Leonard, right?
Jonathan Taylor.
Okay. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah. So you got Darius Leonard, Quenton Nelson, Jonathan Taylor. I think that, Ryan Kelly has a shot at repeating, then on the wide receivers, like I said, did Michael Pittman Jr. make it last year?
As an alternate,
yeah. See, I don't know this year if he's going to be able to, there again, get those ridiculous numbers because of the way I think this offense is going to be so spread out, and then, like I said, you got JT taking some of those reps. And then on the defensive side, I don't see any reason DeForest Buckner, Kenny Moore, see. Yeah, I mean, honestly, maybe Grover. Was he an alternate last year?
No.
Yeah, okay. Maybe Grover might make it into the alternate this year. But outside of that, quickly thinking not off anymore, I'm missing.
So you're naming off, whoever made the Pro Bowl last year is going to make it again this year, huh?
I think the majority of them, the Kenny Moore is the one that, took a little extra work to get him in. And hopefully, they get his financial situation resolved in a fashion that he's happy with and is motivated to come out and show that, hey, either whatever paycheck he got, or if he doesn't, at least whatever terms they come to, that it's going to motivate him to hopefully give us that extra gear or whatever that's needed to get him in there.
Yeah. Frederick Chino says, don't forget Luke Rhodes.
Yeah. We talked about him earlier.
Yeah. He's not forgotten. He's not a guy that I forget about ever. Okay. The image of him, like in his little long snapping stance, is burnt solidly into my brain cavity.
You know what? Something I think of when I think of him is the way he explodes out of that long snapper position. I mean, that's not easy. Okay. I mean, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not a simple, let that ball fly and then stand. No, I mean, he explodes out of there. I mean, he's one of the guys that makes it down there and actually makes a play, and the Colts have been great at the long snapper position for a very long time. And he just is another piece into that long history of it.
New Pro Bowlers that were on the team last year. Will we have any new faces that could make the Pro Bowl this next year who didn't make it last year?
Braden Smith. I'm really expecting Braden Smith to come out and really.
Braden was an alternate last year.
Okay, see, and that's the alternates. I don't have them all memorized. So, do you count that? So, let's see. I mean, we talked about Matt Ryan. Does Mo Alley-Cox have enough? I don't.
I like Mo. I don't think he's going to make a Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I feel like he's so important in the blocking, and blocking, unfortunately, does not get you name mentioned for that Pro Bowl ballot. So, defensively, do you think Quiddy makes it this year? I maybe, there again, I don't know what he's going to look like and how much of a leap he's going to take this year. You know what I mean?
I like Quiddy, but I don't see a 6-sack to a 15-sack jump. You know, if he's got 9-10 sacks in him this year, I am happy. If he gets 15 sacks, I'll buy a Quiddy pay jersey. I'll tell you that right now.
Do you think he gets alternate though? Do you think he can make see? And that's where that whole alternate thing, because like I said, you look at the edge rushers, and the AFC's full of them. So there's a lot of names to beat over.
If he could stay healthy, if this guy can stay healthy that I'm getting ready to name, I think he makes the Pro Bowl. All right, he's that free safety we have sitting back there. All right, that was on a Pro Bowl tear until he tore last year, got the injury, right? I mean, I'll tell you what, man, Julian Blackmon is a stud back there at safety, and if he could just stay healthy, I think he's got a real shot at making the Pro Bowl.
What about McLeod? That's somebody I meant to ask you about. I'm not familiar enough with his body of work over the last couple of years. I mean, I know he's sort of that same mold as Blackmon, so there again, is he even going to be on the field enough? But with the way the Colts like to ease injured players into it and stuff, do you think he gets enough snaps?
Honestly, I like McLeod. He's a solid starter. I don't think he's Pro Bowl material. I think he's a solid starter material. All right. But that's how I see it, though. I think defensively, we pretty much named the guys I think that will make it. I know there's people in here, throwing up names like Bobby O, right? I don't think he'd make it. Just not the name recognition, right? Grover Stewart, not the name recognition. Us Colts fans, we know who Grover Stewart is, just not NFL wise, right? You say Grover Stewart to a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, they're going to be like, what? Super Grover? Right? From Sesame Street? That's who they'll be thinking. I'll tell you someone else I think that has a shot at making the Pro Bowl if he could stay healthy and not get hurt like he did last year. After what I saw from him prior to him getting hurt, I really think Specs has a shot. I think Specs is good enough kicker to make the Pro Bowl. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I liked what I saw with the increase in length. I've always liked what I've saw. Even his misses are accurate, you know what I mean? And that to me is impressive. You know what I mean? Because to me, if you can get the spraying and the slicing and the hooking and all that out of your game, and now you have just this corridor that you got to worry about. Now the only thing you got to do is put the gas to it. It's like, and like you and I have talked quite a bit. We saw that he had added a lot of yards, not a lot. He'd added, 10 or so yards to his accuracy and stuff. And I do agree with you. Another name I was wondering about is, what about Paris Campbell? If he's healthy, if he's out there, does he doesn't have the name recognition, I gather that, but can he put up enough of whoa, who's this guy, and catch people's eyes and stuff? Because I honestly think he's going to open up a lot of eyes this year.
If we're talking talent, right, of all the wide receivers we have, I think Paris Campbell has the ability to make the Pro Bowl over Michael Pittman Jr. Okay. Love Michael Pittman Jr. If Paris can stay healthy, I think he could have that whole, Jamar Chase effect, right? That, oh my goodness, this dude is dynamic, right? Type guy. But the problem with Paris Campbell is he can't stay healthy, right? I mean, yes, if he could stay healthy, but that's a 1 in 20 shot. I got a 20-sided dice right here. Let's see if he can stay healthy this year. He has the skill sets and the ability to do it. But man, dude, I promise you, just go out there, stay healthy. The numbers will fall, and he'd have a real shot. I do believe you. I do believe that 100%. Federico and Nomadics, like, what about Mr. Rigoberto Sanchez?
My bad, sir. Thing is he just doesn't have the distance. He's so accurate with his punting, but he, a lot of the punters and it's like, net yardage and stuff. I'll tell you right now, I would take Rigo over a lot of these guys just because he can just break your heart. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But he doesn't get. I mean, we've talked about it quite a bit. Coach Reich does not like using his punters if he doesn't need to. But 4th and 4. We got this, you know what I mean? So that sort of slows down, but I do like the young man. But there again, he doesn't have enough. And I would argue that it's sort of a hindrance coming out of the Colts organization because we're not a large market team and stuff. That does play a factor in this. I mean, don't get me wrong. Colts Nation is proud and we can be loud, but the thing is just sit there and get the numbers and the vote. I mean, it was in the hundreds of thousands for Kenny Moore last year. And I was just like, I hadn't followed it that closely over the years previous because I wasn't part of a podcast or anything. Now it's like, okay, I got to pay more attention. I was a little bit set back by how many votes actually went into some of these Pro Bowl votes. And I was just like, okay, that's a massive number. And then to get that number out of a small market team is a little difficult.
So I have a question. What are the odds the Colts send 2 running backs to the freaking Pro Bowl? That would be weird. Could Nyheim Hines, who was an alternate last year, make a Pro Bowl this year? Right? As, they're talking right now, going out there and doing a lot of different stuff, especially with Matt Ryan. Mm-hmm. I don't know if a team sent 2 running backs to a Pro Bowl ever in the history of the NFL.
Yeah. And the thing is there again, AFC being so loaded, that is an obstacle. Does Nyheim Hines get enough touches? Last year, I mean, honestly, I didn't even, I kind of forgot that he was an alternate because it just seemed like he as a Colts fan, he wasn't getting enough touches. I would even argue that the organization felt that way because we've heard a lot this offseason about how, if you're drafting fantasy, go for Nyheim. But there again, is he going to get past Chubbs and all the other AFC running backs that are in this loaded AFC? You know what I mean? 1, yes. 2 would be a tall, but there again, if Nyheim Hines can sit there and ball out in his special teams aspect and then add in that consistent 65, 70 receptions or whatever and get some touchdowns, it's not out of the question. You know what I mean? And the thing is I keep talking about like being a big market. If this team goes deep in the playoffs, that's going to bode well. If this team comes out and dominates some of these AFC West teams, I'm not saying if we go, if we say we sit there and we beat the Chiefs, like you say, what was it? You said 17 points or something. If we can beat them by 17 there, that's going to raise a lot of eyebrows. If we could sit there and 2-2 or 3-1 against the AFC West team. That's also going to be bringing some attention. And so it's not out of the question, but there again, that's just a massive hurdle to overcome whenever you look at this AFC as a whole with their running backs.
Absolutely. So, guys, it has been 35 minutes, and it is time to get to the live chat. I think we've discussed pretty much everyone that we think that can make the Pro Bowl this upcoming season. Now, I did see a guy, Speed says that he's not really, big into the Pro Bowl because it's a popularity contest, and I understand that. It is. You talked about it. It's a lot about name recognition, but you got to play your ass off to get that name recognition, right? That it is what it is. You got to put up those points, right? Put up stats, and be on a winning team, right? That's a big situation there. So, Deep says that he thinks that if he stays healthy, and we talked about that, absolutely. Deep also says that Gilmore's going to help the secondary room with advice and play on the field, which could, again, help other people, get name recognition, right? Hey, Speed, he says that he had to take a break from working on my little items so I could come listen. Yeah, he's doing 3D printing, which is pretty cool. When I get it, you'll see. Not only will I see, but, you'll see, okay? Not just you, Chuck.
Yeah.
So he says he's going to stop in more often. I appreciate that. Thanks so much, man. So hold on. Where was it? I saw it earlier. Ryan will need at least 5,000 yards and a bunch of touchdowns to make the Pro Bowl. If he throws for 5,000 yards, then we better be going to the Super Bowl. Screw the Pro Bowl. Because seriously, if he throws 5,000 yards and a bunch of touchdowns, and I'm going to almost guarantee Jonathan Taylor is going to get at least 1,500 yards rushing, because, wow. Yeah. So this was a talk about Darius Leonard, I believe. And he says, or is he missing training camp? From what I understand, he could miss the first couple weeks of training camp due to, yes, he's walking around fine, but you still don't want to have impacts and overuse a situation when you just had surgery on it not long ago. But from what I'm understanding, there's a possibility he could be at training. He will be at training camp, but whether he's working out with the team early on, that's another question. We seen last year where guys walking around in boots and stuff, and they were there, right? They just weren't participating, right? Yeah. Except for guys like Quenton Nelson, who was participating in the way of, you're doing that wrong. Let me show you how to do that right.
Yeah, and I think Darius Leonard and Julian the Wolverine Blackman, I'm going to keep pushing that nickname. I think both of those guys, the Colts are really going to, I don't want to say they're going to use kid gloves, but they're going to sit there and ease them into it. You're not going to win the playoffs in training camp and stuff. Yes, I think it's important that they're there and stuff, but they're both, according to them, they're both saying, yeah, we'll be eligible for training camp. But I do think that the team might just say, okay, let's just ease into that. You realize, I was sitting there, it's only been like 7.5 months since Blackman had that ACL repaired, and he is already out there doing. Man, these athletes nowadays, they're special.
Absolutely. Skylar and Kirsten, what's up? Appreciate you. Says, how many weeks do you think it'll be until the offense and defense clicks and takes off? I think up to 4. I think that the schedule for the Indianapolis Colts this year is in favor of them clicking and taking off week 1. Week 1. All right. Come on. Look who they play. The very first game of the year. If there isn't a game out there that can make you feel good about yourself, it's that one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then week 2 will just make us feel good as fans because getting that. But like you said, they don't even have to be at 100%. To hopefully take and handle these first 2 games. by week 3, you're going to hope that some of that, the kinks are worked out and stuff. You're going to hope that, Yannick and Quiddy are on the same page, putting a ton of pressure on Patrick Mahomes. And that's going to be where I really want to see. That's going to be the early measuring stick for this schedule is week 3 there against the Chiefs.
What's up, Wyatt? Appreciate you being in here. He says, how well the D-line produces, as a group produces, will make or break this defense. It's time for Ballard's investments to pay dividends. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's no excuses now. We have picks upon picks upon picks right there on that front D-line, right? We have first-round picks. We have second-round picks. We have second-round picks. We have first-round picks. And that's all it is first and second-round picks except for Grover Stewart. Right, we got a whole crap of first and second round because DeForest Buckner was a first round pick, right? Period. So yeah, absolutely, this D line needs to produce and needs to produce big.
Yeah, I agree completely, and that for me is the biggest. Man, I really want to see this. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to get the left tackle situation sorted out, and I'm not as concerned about what Matt Ryan will do because everything that we've seen, I'm pretty confident that he's going to be able to do good to hopefully great. But this D-line, if this D-line can do what we've been expecting, and for me personally, just been chomping at the bit for the last 2 or 3 years, that is going to go a massive way to taking this team from that top middle tier team to maybe start getting in those conversations for one of the elite, even in the AFC.
I think this could be considered a bold statement.
Wow.
I think this could be considered a bold statement. I'm not saying that he doesn't have the ability. I've seen it. I've seen him have the ability. But doing that in the season would mean he's kicking those in the no man zones. And Frank Reich, when there's short distances in the no man zone, he generally goes for it. So on fourth down, right? When it's like 4th and 4 or less in that 65 yard range, he generally goes for it. So that would be a something else there if that happens.
And we talked about it earlier. Let's not forget about Rigo. Rigo he's deadly. You give him that type of distance and stuff, he's going to drop it inside the 5 more often than not. And, with this defense, having an offense pinned back against their goal line, I think I'd lean towards that a little bit more this year, maybe.
Paris deserves to stay healthy.
Preach it.
I'm not, yeah. Amen. All right. We didn't know he was hurt, right? He got up, walked off the field, celebrated, all that stuff. We didn't see anything wrong with him. And then he said he felt it, but it didn't hurt like bad. So, he didn't think it was that big of a deal. Now they're, could somebody get rid of this person? Here we go. Block user. There we go. Bam, gone. I just noticed that we were getting hit with a lot of, yeah.
Okay. Let me get mine.
It's all good. I found it and got rid of it. He said, Nomadic, if they sent, did we already talk about that? I think we talked about that. Yeah. Yep. Every year he makes the Pro Bowl. All right.
You go.
He is the best mascot in the NFL, period. End of discussion. Has been for years and years. Might be the best mascot in all of sports.
Yeah, and the way he leads that whole group of individuals and doing he's made that thing a year-round profession, and he's elite at it. Like you said, the guy is awesome.
Absolutely. I'm going through this. I'm sorry. Yeah, I saw the spam bots. It just took me a minute to get there. They were trying to get rid of everybody. I think I got rid of them, though. Pretty sure. Yeah, Nomadic says, Blue got the skills. Ninkowski, come on, bro. He retired. That's sad. He thinks he should go to the Pro Bowl because for retiring. That's dirty.
Yes.
That's low and dirty, Darren Ninkowski. All right.
unless maybe he's going to take up the ministry for the Colts, and then do they allow that? I don't know.
I don't know either, man. Hey, I mean, he could be the NFL Player of the Year, right? Man of the Year. That's possible. He says, "Why is that sad?" Because I actually liked Khari Willis. I thought he was one of the better box safeties in the NFL, right? But at the same time, good luck to him. Again, for going out there and doing what makes you happy. No matter what it is that you're doing, if it's making you happy, then that's what you should be doing. So, all right. It's been 46 minutes, and I appreciate everyone. Again, you have any final words there, Loyalist?
Did you want to mention about the fan appreciation and stuff?
Yeah, we'll probably this Friday. We may. We may. We're deciding on whether it's this Friday or the Friday after for a fan appreciation, where we'll drop a link in the chat for you guys to come on and just hang out and talk with us. Right now, obviously, there will be some rules to that. You got to follow YouTube rules. The whole no cussing, no literally showing your ass. Things of that nature. No one wants to see that. But hey, we're thinking about just having you on and hanging out with us. Very much similar to what we do with the Patreons on Thursday nights. So
I seen this question. I thought you might like to.
Yeah, we JC 730. I saw that question on the Twitter tweet that I put out there.
Okay.
I don't. If we do, it won't be till probably 2 weeks into training camp. I've said this a month ago. I said I don't think we're going to get another wide receiver. The way Frank Wright, Reggie Wayne, and Chris Ballard have talked about this wide receiving group, I don't think that they're going to get one until they actually have pads on and out there running. And if they don't like what they see at that point, then they may go get a veteran receiver. If they feel like they were validated in saying that there's a lot more talent on this wide receiving crew than what everybody thinks there is, they probably won't. So I personally, I don't think they will. And if they do, it won't be a big name. I don't think T.Y. is going to be re-signed, guys. I know a lot of you were hoping, he only needs a few hundred yards to make that 10,000 mark.
Yeah.
I get that. I understand it, but I don't see it happening. If it happens, I'm not going to be upset about it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just using my, logic here and looking at the team and looking how people are talking. So, Ninkowski here says, become patrons. You can hang out with us weekly. Absolutely. You can join the Patreon, right? The link to my Patreon is in the description of the video. You're going to have a lot of fun because I'll tell you what, training camp dates have been announced. And guess who's going to be at training camp a lot? Both of us. And I will be on the sidelines and doing interviews and stuff of that nature for a few of those days. So with my media pass. So I appreciate you. Yeah, Nomadic. I said way back weeks ago, Scary wasn't coming to Indy. All right. I said that. This was the whole Terry McLaurin thing was about him getting his contract from the Washington. I knew that's what it was about, and he got it. So, the link, Ninkowski, is in the description of the video. It's just right there in the description, right there below. I don't know what list it is, but it's in there. So I appreciate you guys. I think that's going to do it.
Okay.
I appreciate each and every one of you. Please smash that like button. Helps with the analytics a ton. I know we only got 20 people in here, so at least have 20 likes. Come on, guys. I'd appreciate that very, very much. Don't forget, tomorrow is the Patreon stream. Don't forget, we also have possibly this Friday, but since it's the 4th of July, we may end up doing it the following Friday. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Colts Loyalist. And as usual, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.
Last year, between actual Pro Bowlers and alternates, we had 13 guys between Pro Bowlers and alternate Pro Bowlers. This 2023 season, the Colts are going to make the Super Bowl, and we're going to send more than that. We're going to send 9 people to the Pro Bowl. 9. Book it. Write it down. Ninkowski. Put money on it.